Hey guys, the Skull Seeker here. Today we are going to be comparing a mountain lion skull with a domestic cat skull. So as you can see, there's quite a size difference here. Mountain lion skull is much larger, and of course it's a much larger animal. But like the main thing you'll notice here with the eyes, so the eye socket on these, the domestic cat actually has a much larger eye socket compared to like skull size than the mountain lion. So this is actually like nowhere near as large compared to the total skull size as the domestic cat's eye socket. So that's actually pretty interesting. So domestic cat would have larger eyes proportionate to their body than the mountain lion. Then if we do a side by side here, the mountain lion skull is much more elongated. They both have this like long sagittal crest. However, on the cat, it's shorter. It's not as defined. It starts about here. It goes down here. So if we take a look at this, its sagittal crest is like basically right here, just that shorter area, and it kind of makes like a little pointed triangle there, which is pretty interesting. Whereas with the mountain lion, we have this much larger sagittal crest that extends like all the way down here, starts about here, and then we have this like kind of interesting shape where it has instead of being like just a triangle, it has this like fourth little protrusion here, which is pretty interesting. And the majority of the structure is the same with them both being felines. However, there is quite a lot of differences compared to like skull shape, but a lot of the features are the same, like the tooth count is the same. However, my domestic cat actually is missing quite a few teeth. But if we take a look at the bottom jaw, which I think, here's the domestic cat bottom jaw, I think it's only missing one tooth. Yeah, just one. And just one incisor. Then all of the rest of the teeth are here on the bottom jaw. The top jaw is missing some premolars and a incisor. Anyway, so we have this large size difference here, very large difference. Although you can see the tooth count is about the same. So, well, and by that I mean the tooth count is the same. They both have the three molar and premolar combo on each side. And then they each have 6 incisors and then 2 canines. And the thing you'll notice, it's kind of hard to see here with these, but actually the domestic cat has longer canine teeth proportionate to their skull than the mountain lion does, and that's more seeable with with the top jaw when they are actually like with the top jaw on top. You can actually see how far they protrude downward, and it's like a big difference actually, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, there's the size difference for those, which is actually very interesting to look at. But they still have a very similar shape. They both are pretty much identical in shape, which is very interesting. And of course, there's some like deformities. This one's chipped a little bit on the carnassial, but you know. Then we can take a look at the top jaws. Well, I guess the skull. So here we have the skull of both of these, and we'll take a look at the domestic cat first. So as you can see, yeah, it's missing. We got a premolar here that's missing, and then it's missing one incisor as well. Anyway, the auditory bullae here, foramen magnum, pretty interesting here. It has these little points here, which the mountain lion skull has one of them broken off. But anyway, and so other than that, all the teeth are here, just missing I think 2 on the top jaw. But yeah, one of the premolars there, so that's a definite big missing thing that's noticeable. But anyway, yeah, the large eye sockets and then the super long canines. Now, if we put the bottom jaw back here, and you'll see how nicely it fits in. So there's like these little hinges here, there, and there. And then this basically just fits in really nice right here. And then that allows the jaw to chomp down like that, which is really awesome how that works. You can open pretty wide too. So about here would be the limit without like dislocating the jaw. And then it just like closes. But you can see here how these canine teeth almost go past the bottom of the jaw. They're a little bit less. And then when we look at the mountain lion skull, if I can, I'll have to lift it, I guess. If we look at the mountain lion skull, which is, this one's always harder to get the jaw back on, but anyway, then we look at it, its canine teeth don't quite go as far down, which is interesting. And when I hold them side by side, you can see that just in general, yeah, you can see how the domestic cat's canine teeth do go farther down, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, these are both being held level. It may not appear that way, but they are. It's just kind of hard to show them both because of the size of the mountain lion skull. It's much larger. It's like, I think like 8.5 inches long. So it's pretty massive. Then we didn't take a look at the top jaw yet. So we'll take a look at the underside here. So here we have this foramen magnum auditory bullae. And like I was saying, one of these is broken off here. But anyway. Then we have all the teeth here. We have the little tiny premolar there, which is missing on the domestic cat as well. Super tiny tooth compared to skull size anyway. And then we have the canines here, which one of these, this one here you can kind of see is at a weird point, and that's because it got like chipped in its lifetime. So it's like it chewed on something that kind of perfectly flattened that as if it was like a rodent tooth, like a beaver or something. And then this one also had a break here. There's a little bit of a weird shape there, so it would have gotten bit something that would have taken part of the tooth off there, which is pretty interesting. And then yeah, there's just variability in the molars. Here you can see what looks like possibly even a cavity, and then just the weird shape overall because yes, it's just missing part of it. This one has the whole thing, and this one's just a little bit weird. And then if we take a look at the domestic cat again, so yeah, it's also missing the two tiny teeth here, the little premolars. But yeah, the main thing is just I guess the general like how the teeth look. So like this one has the both of these molars are actually pretty good shape, but yeah, with the mountain lion, we look at that, and this one's actually kind of damaged, which is pretty interesting. And I think the one on the bottom was like that as well. But anyway, yeah, we have this little guy, and also you can look at this and see it had some traumatic injuries. So you can see from the top mainly, it has these two indents here. So, and I don't have any other domestic cat skulls, but looking at images on Google, which it's also hard to see because there's not really any images from the back that would show this very well, but I'm pretty sure this cat would have died from traumatic injury to the head or something, or at least it would have had some troubles while it was alive, because this doesn't look very normal. It's got these like kind of indents here. I have a bird skull that was impacted in the head and it died that way. But anyway, there's like these two kind of like craters in the head, so pretty sure something happened there. Yeah, and then we can take a look at the eyes from here. So the big eyes here, you can see this massive eye socket here with the with the zygomatic arch, we have this one piece that kind of comes up, and that's very interesting. This almost makes a full loop here. And this is like a feature that all cats have. You compare it to some other mammals, they don't have that. A lot of the time, they just have something that just goes across here. But there are quite a few that do have this little spike there. Of course, we have the jugal and the squamosal. But yeah, and then we look at this one from the front, and you can see from the front on this one, the skull doesn't come, like it's not as big back here. The brain case is smaller compared to the domestic cat, but we just in general have these smaller eyes, which is very interesting because just in general, the eyes compared to body size are smaller. But yeah, we look at the brain case, and it's just kind of small, but it has this big sagittal crest on here, which probably takes away from some of the brain size possibility because it needs the stronger jaw muscles, which would like wrap around here. Um, and then with the domestic cat, it has this bigger brain case. As you can see from the back, you can see much more of the back of the skull from here. So right here, there's just much more when you're looking straight on at it. And like I say, it has the smaller jaw muscles there, not as big of a sagittal crest, and it's not the same shape. So that's, yeah, the interesting thing there. And yeah, just in general, it has a bigger brain case, which you can see here. It's just much larger than the mountain lions, which is pretty interesting. And then I don't think I showed the mountain lion jaw opening and closing, so we'll put the cat skull back together. Then we have, yeah, the big old mountain lion jaw, and then the skull. And so, yeah, once again, it has these kind of like little hinges in here, which is pretty cool how those work. And yeah, this just slides in here pretty perfectly. Got to line it up, and there we go. It kind of locks in much better than the domestic cat. But anyway, it's got these strong jaw muscles that allow it to open up pretty wide and then chomp down on something that it would be eating. So like to kill their prey, they'd snap the neck. So they got these big teeth here. And I guess the other thing, if you look at it from the front, this tooth is shorter than this canine because it would have also chipped. If you look at the side, it's kind of like a flat edge there. So just like what I was saying with the top jaw, this canine is a little bit flattened here, which is interesting. The other one, I don't think it's had any damage. See, it's more perfect in how it should look. It's rounded, and it's not like chipped. It's the full length. This one was chipped at one point and flattened on the side, whereas this one is still the normal kind of conical shape, which is interesting. And yeah, you can also see here it had a chip coming out, something damaged there too, which is interesting. Yeah, for some reason the mountain lion skull is always harder to get lined up. There we go. Anyway, we have this gigantic North American predator, and then we have this smaller one, which is apparently much deadlier to the environment because the domestic cat takes out billions of birds every year in Australia alone, as well as mammals and lizards and snakes and all sorts of stuff. So it's just the domestic cat is the ultimate predator, honestly. But anyway, cats in general are really good predators, but there's still a whole lot of things with higher kill rates. Anyway, yeah, they're pretty cool skulls to look at. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.